welcome back to our channel. I'm Christina and this is my husband Eric.
Yep, how y'all doing?
And we are gardeners in Virginia in zone 7B. Now today what we are going to be doing is we're going to be pruning some of our tropical plants and getting them ready to come inside. We're going to be pruning our Meyer lemon tree, and we are going to be treating the soil because we are not going to be repotting anything, but we're going to treat the soil with some mosquito bit tea to make sure there are no bugs in the soil, and then we will be bringing them inside. So we're going to bring in our Meyer lemon tree, our moringa, possibly our eggplant, and our what's that big tree? The palm tree, our palm tree. So we're gonna jump into that and then we'll see what else we can get accomplished today. So let's get started. So I have to do a voiceover right here because I did not realize that my neighbor was blowing their leaves and it was so loud, and also my microphone had cut out or something. So here we are doing a voiceover, and I'm basically telling you guys how my husband cleaned the pruners with warm water and soap before trimming the bush. We want to make sure that we don't transfer any diseases. Although these pruners were new, we still wanted to make sure that we clean them. And now he's just cutting the lower branches off because we don't want any lower hanging fruit, because we are anticipating fruit next year. Although this plant has not produced us any fruit, we have been trimming it and it has been growing new leaves, new stems. So we are excited about that. So we're just going to be trimming and trying to shape.
What about the ones at the top?
So he's just pruned some of these lower branches off because it's going to be sitting in the living room and we don't want anyone to walk past them and hurt themselves or the tree. So we're pruning these and then we're going to prune some of the taller branches. We all know from our last video, I do get a little prune happy, so I'm going to try my best not to get him to prune too much. Yes, definitely right there.
Anything that's like hanging over?
Yeah. And we actually have a lot of new growth that came in, but we need to prune that down because we don't want the tree that tall. We don't want it so tall. We want it bushier than it is tall. And then this one up here, because we want to kind of like shape it also. Yes. Yeah. And I think this is gonna encourage some growth. It's looking kind of sad and weird right now, but it is. What do you think? What do you think? What about this little piece up here?
I mean, it don't look too bad. I just say next time just like wait, make sure you water.
I was not talking about that. I wasn't talking about any of that he just trimmed. I was just talking about this. I was talking about this. The pruners aren't even that thick to do that. Okay. What do you guys think? How is it looking? I mean, he's still holding up 3 years later and he's still alive. He's still growing new leaves. We just trimmed off a bunch of new growth. Maybe we shouldn't have trimmed off the new growth, but we don't want it so tall. We don't want a huge tall lemon tree. I think this will do. This is manageable for inside the house. So the next thing that we're going to do is make some mosquito bit tea. It's kind of like the mosquito dunks, but it's in the small little bit form. And we're going to make some tea using some warm water, mixing the mosquito bits with it, and then pouring it into our soil. We're going to do that for our lemon tree, for our moringa, and for our palm tree that we're going to bring inside today. I'm not sure exactly about the eggplant because it's still producing. It has put on a bunch of new flowers. So I'm thinking about maybe I can put some type of frost covering on it and keep it outside as long as possible because I just don't think that the grow lights that we have in the house and how our setup is going to be able to sustain and keep the plant producing all of the eggplants that it looks like it's trying to grow. So that is our next task, to get the mosquito bit tea together and bring everything in the house. I'll show you how I'm going to make the mosquito bit tea and then where we're going to set everything at in the house once we get that all set up. So we'll be back in a second.
You think you can hold this?
This?
Yeah, because it's gonna have to get dumped in there.
Yeah, well, let me put some new soil down here. Day green bone meal to put in here for root production. I did. For root production. I totally did. This is my manager. All right, and then we're gonna mix this up in here like that. I know bone meal is good for root development, and since we're about to disturb the roots, we need that. All right, ready? Mm-hmm.
All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour. Once I pour, like hold the hold the stick,
Got it.
and then like that, hit it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna break it. Wait, hold on. I think I'm trying to break it.
Oh my goodness.
And I pull it.
Okay. All right. So now I'm gonna lift this up, and I want you to take. Yeah. And we're not going to worry about rinsing the roots off because we're going to put some mosquito bit tea in here. So that should kill all the bugs. Ooh, I just saw a grub.
Hey.
You got it?
Right there.
Ew, you want me to touch that? I'm not touching that thing. Here, use the leaf.
Avoid these things right here. Take these out.
Being that the root is, the stem is curved, we're going to want to straighten this out. So we're going to lean it this way a little bit and then backfill it. Makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, now put the soil in it because I have it leaned a little bit. So now it should be more even and not leaning how it was leaning.
Let's just kind of clean it. When you do this, it's like make it fresh.
Yeah,
rejuvenating
it. Yep. But also, a lot of people don't like to move the soil because they're disturbing the microorganisms in there. But
that actually helps.
I see some worms in here.
Do we
do we want the worms in the house?
I mean, they only gonna live in here. You just gotta worry about. You gotta keep it moisturized because if not, they get dry. They're gonna start crawling in the house.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. There's our daughter Destiny. Babe, I think that looks good. I think it's as straight as.
Let's sprinkle some of that Jesus on it. Take some of that Jesus.
Okay. And this soil is a mixture of Fox Farm and compost that we had made.
What about Happy Frog?
Yeah, Fox Farm, Happy Frog, Ocean Forest, and compost from our compost bin. No, hold on. Why are we putting this on here? We need to make the mosquito bit tea. With this little baby leaf, I have no doubt that it's gonna come back. All right, there's our moringa, and next, let's get the palm tree. So Destiny is now giving the lemon tree some fresh potting soil. This is just miracle grow. This palm tree has died and come back to life so many times. And now we have a huge little new set coming up in the middle. So we want to bring this inside because it's getting too cold outside for it at night. The temperatures have been dipping down into the 40s. And again, this is a tropical plant and we don't want it to die. Now, some of the ends need to be trimmed because it was sitting beside our grill, and my wonderful sister lit the grill and burnt my palm tree leaves. So, but it's okay. These things are resilient. We have our niece Avery here. She's going to help Destiny with the soil. So the next thing that we are going to do is make our mosquito bit tea. So we have our mosquito bits. I just bought a small bag from Amazon and I believe this was like $11. So we have our bag of mosquito bit, and then we have our container that we're going to mix our tea in. So what I'm going to do is get some warm water. I'm going to put the mosquito bits in here, pour the warm water in there, let it sit, and then I'm going to strain the water out and put it in our watering can and then water our plants. So we're going to pour our warm water in here. Whoa. Oh, it's leaking. Oh no. Move, 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 move. This isn't going to work. We have our makeshift container that we're going to start our tea in because all of our other pots have holes in them because we have been growing in them. So what we're going to do is we're going to pour some hot water. Now, I did find some instructions about this, a tutorial video, and they were talking about using warm water, but we're going to use a little bit more hot water so that we can dissolve our mosquito bits faster, and we're going to stir it up, but we're also going to dilute this. So it's going to be diluted with cold water so we are not harming the roots of our plants. So what I'm going to do is pour some of the bits in here. I'm just going to eyeball it like that. We do want it kind of strong because we want to make sure that we're going to kill everything. Because not only is this for mosquitoes, but this will be for the fungus gnats. So she's going to pour the hot water in here.
All of it? All of it?
No, that's enough. And she's going to stir it. And we can already see the color changing in the water. We're going to let this sit for a little while and then we will strain it and then we will put it into our watering can and then water our plants that we plan on bringing inside. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use this little sand strainer that my daughter had when she was younger when we used to go to the beach. So we're going to use that and strain our mosquito bit tea into our watering can. Okay. Now we have it all strained out because we don't want this going in our watering can.
Sounds good.
Just a couple did. And now we are going to dilute this with water, cold water. Here's the setup that we have for our 3 plants that we brought inside. We have our lemon tree over here. We have our moringa, and then we have our palm tree. So I did some type of makeshift lighting with some of my grow lights right here. So the tops of them are getting direct light. I will try my best to come up with another setup. I'm not sure if this is going to be enough lighting, especially on the bottom right here, but we shall see. And then we have our lighting over here for our palm tree. I did notice that since the palm tree has been inside and it's warmer in here, I do see that it's starting to branch out even more. So we are excited about that. These grow lights are actually the grow lights that we had in here on these plants the last season. And they survived and they did pretty good. So I do want to add a couple of more lights down here and maybe another light over here. But overall, I think this is going to be good for the fall and winter season. I'm pretty sure our next course of action is going to be deciding where we are going to plant these brassicas and these lettuces that are ready to go out. This is our next planting. We've already planted 1 round of everything, and now this is our 2nd round. And now we also have a 3rd round that's in the house that will be ready within the next couple of weeks to go out. Now, we did not start any more broccoli or any more cabbages or anything like that because it's just going to take far too long for them to grow before the cold season comes, and we don't have that much time left, but we can still plant out our spinaches, lettuces. We have some winter choy. We have some kale, some collards, all of those things which do great here in Virginia in Zone 7B during the cold winters. Sometimes we get a bunch of snow, sometimes we do not, but I will be covering them. And actually, last year I did not cover them and they all survived. I was out here picking collards and kale while snow was on my beds. So we're going to figure out where we're going to plant those. I'm going to use my planter app just so that I can get a better layout, so I can make sure that I have space for everything. So that is what we're going to do, and I'll show you exactly what we have. So this is our next round of leafy greens and brassicas that will be going out in the garden over the next 2 days. So we have some spinach here that I forgot to label what kind of spinach it is, and when I started the seeds, I likely have it in a notebook somewhere that I will be able to put on my labels. So we have some dino kale and some outrageous lettuce. We have 1 outrageous lettuce and 1 dino kale that we'll be planting out right there. We have some romaine and some more dino kale. We do have more broccoli. Okay. And we have some broccoli, the Chico broccoli, and some blue dazzling kale that we will plant out. And I don't know if you watched our first video or if I forgot to mention it. But this is our first time using, this is our first time, this is our first time using the Bootstrap Farmer containers, and they are so great. So all of these are Bloomsdale spinach. Now I wish they would have got a little bit bigger, but I feel like planting them inside and in ground will help to boost them some more. We have some more romaine, some more Bloomsdale spinach. I planted quite a few because my first round of Bloomsdale did not do that well. We have a couple of leeks in here. These are supposed to be giant autumn leeks. I feel like I should have started them a long time ago. We have some Matador spinach here. This is some more romaine. It says pak choy, but I know that that's not pak choy. That's some romaine. More Bloomsdale spinach. Two more romaines. And we have some red Russian kale, a collard, and some blue dazzling kale. These are looking quite bad and small. So I'm still gonna plant them out and just give them some Alaska Fish Farm, because I do see new growth coming in. So I'm pretty sure they'll be fine. They're just a little small right now. We have some red sales lettuce, some Vate collard, some Matador spinach, and some Simron. I'm not exactly sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I got that from M.I. Gardner. Simron lettuce down here. So we have to find a place to put all of these. Now, I will say once again that I do square foot gardening. So I can fit a lot of lettuces and spinach in a small square foot. Now I do believe, I'm not mistaken, I can fit 9 spinach plants in 1 square foot. I'll have to check again, but I believe that I can. But also sometimes I don't count it. I just put them in there. And I do want some of my lettuces to form heads, and then some of them I want to be cut and come again. So some of them I will put more in a square foot, and then some of them I will only do about 4 so they can actually have space to form heads. Some of my kales I'll grow a little bit closer, and then some I will space them apart, like my 1,000 head kale. I want that spaced apart. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go over and figure out how we're going to lay these out, and then we'll start planting these out. Now, we may plant them out today, or we may plant them out tomorrow, depending on how much time we have. So a recap of what we've done so far is we have pruned the lemon tree. My husband pruned some of the palm tree. We repotted the moringa, and we have fed all 3 of them mosquito bit tea. Now, there were glandulars left over from the mosquito bit tea, and I used the remaining glandulars. I mixed some in the soil of the 3 pots, and I also put the rest of the glandulars in the pots of plants that I have in the house. They're all non-edible plants. I have a lot of pothos that's in the house, so I put glandulars in those pots so we would not be wasting the mosquito bits since they were already wet. We've decided the layout of where we're going to put these plants in the house, so we're going to get that done. And I've mapped out the next round of plants that I'm going to be planting out. I've decided that I'm not going to plant them out today. That will be in our next video, because I need to go to the store and get some bone meal. I have blood meal, but I need some bone meal. I want to put those in the holes as I'm planting them, and then I'm going to give them some Alaska fish fertilizer. So that is going to be it for today's video. Not as much as I wanted to get accomplished, but I feel like we've started to get our next round prepared to go out, and we are bringing in the pots that need to come inside for winterization. Now we still need to figure out what we're going to do with the eggplant, and we still need to map out our last succession planting. So we have succession 1 planted out already. Succession 2 has already been mapped out on our planter app, and I will drop that over here shortly so you can see how I have mapped everything out. And now the last thing is to figure out what we're going to do with the succession planting 3, but we'll get that all figured out. So thank you again for joining us on this journey. We are so excited to have you. We are so excited to grow with you. Join us back next time. We're planting out our second round of succession planting. Until then, continue to grow, continue to try new things, experiment. That's what gardening is all about. I'll see you next time. Bye.